Pride is the 7th song on Damn, and in my opinion, is the most important song in understanding the album.
Love's gonna get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you and you and me and you and you and you.
First, what is pride? Pride can be defined in many ways, but for simplicity, pride is the antonym of humility. For example, a humble person would choose to stay silent of their accomplishments, while a prideful person would boast. Pride has deep connections to the Bible, being known as the capital sin or the source of all other sins. Pride, in a biblical sense, is essentially a state of being opposed to God. As to be prideful of one's accomplishments, you are giving yourself credit rather than God. Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, and like the other sins, is represented by a demon. In the case of pride, it is Satan. The chorus plays off the common phrase, sharing is caring, by flipping it, saying that Kendrick wasn't taught to share, but he was taught to care. Knowing Kendrick's background growing up in Compton, sharing material possessions like money is not the way to survive, but his family still instilled values to care and look out for other people. Another meaning is that Kendrick was taught to care for other people, but not share his true feelings. Kendrick says in another life he surely was there, which I will touch on later when we get to the outro.
Hell raising, whale chasing, new worldly possessions. Flesh making, spirit breaking, which one would you listen? The better part, the human heart, you love them or dissect them. Happiness or flashiness, how do you serve the question?
The verse starts with Kendrick juxtaposing material possessions and aesthetics to spirituality and happiness. Kendrick then asks, how do you serve the question, talking directly to his listeners, asking how do you apply that question in your daily life? Do you chase happiness or flashiness? Do you do things to be happy or for appearances?
See, in the perfect world, I would be perfect world. I don't trust people enough beyond their surface world. I don't love people enough to put my faith in man. I put my faith in these lyrics, hoping I make a band.
Kendrick references another common phrase, in a perfect world, which is used to express something you know isn't realistic, but would exist in an ideal version of reality. Kendrick will reference a perfect world multiple times throughout the song. In this case, he flips it by saying that in a perfect world, he would be perfect. World. World is used in a weird way, sounding like he is referring to world as if he is talking to it, as if he is telling the world that if he could be perfect, he would. But since he can't, the world will just have to accept his flaws. He expands on that by saying he has trust issues and can't put his faith into other people. Importantly, Kendrick uses the word faith, which is intentional with its biblical connotations, making the distinction that he can't put his faith in man, but he still puts his faith in God. Kendrick then says he puts his faith in his lyrics so he can increase his wealth, which answers his question from before, happiness or flashiness. Kendrick chooses flashiness.
I understand I ain't perfect, I probably won't come around. This time I might put you down. Last time I ain't give a fuck. I still feel the same now. My feelings might go numb. You're dealing with cold thumb. I'm willing to give up a leg and arm to show empathy from.
Kendrick refers back to his previous statement, saying he isn't perfect, and showcases that through his pride, he can disregard the care he was taught to have for others, and by doing so, can put someone down or lose his empathy.
Lady parties and functions are you and yours. A perfect world, you probably live another 24. I can't fake humble just cause your ass is insecure. I can't fake humble just cause your ass is insecure.
Kendrick then brings back the idea of a perfect world, saying that in a perfect world, you would probably live another 24. Kendrick is saying that survival is only guaranteed in a perfect world, and even in a perfect world, you will only probably live another 24, likely reflecting on his times in Compton and the friends he lost along the way. Kendrick then fully gives into his pride, saying he can't fake being humble just because the listeners are insecure or jealous of his status and wealth, when the truth is God and his listeners are the only reason he has what he has, and without them he would still be back in Compton.
Now in a perfect world, I probably won't be insensitive. Cold as December, but never remember what winter did.
Kendrick further elaborates more things only achievable in a perfect world, saying that only in a perfect world he wouldn't be insensitive. He ties that back to the lines about a cold thumb in verse 1, saying he wouldn't be as cold as December, meaning he wouldn't have a lack of empathy in a perfect world. He then adds that while he is cold like December, he never remembers what winter did. Winter being the result of the cold, meaning that Kendrick never remembers the results of his emotional detachment and the effect it has on others.
I wouldn't blame you for mistakes I made or the bed I laid. Seems like I point the finger just to make a point nowadays.
Continuing his perfect world, Kendrick references yet another expression, "You've made your bed, now lie in it." Kendrick says that in a perfect world, he wouldn't blame people for the mistakes he's made and the results of his own actions. Kendrick adds to this idea, saying that sometimes he points the finger just to make a point, using wordplay to illustrate that sometimes he blames other people just to avoid taking accountability. This is, again, another result of Kendrick's pride in his refusal to admit that he is wrong by finding someone else to blame.
Smiles and cold stares, the temperature goes there. Indigenous disposition, feel like we belong here.
The winter imagery is continued, saying that smiles and cold stares make the temperature go there, with there being the cold, saying that the smiles and cold stares have become numb to Kendrick. The next line references the general pride of man, how even though land is already inhabited by native people, civilizations throughout history have felt the right to claim it as their own. This transitions the focus of the song into racial issues.
I know the walls, they can listen, I wish they could talk back. The hurt becomes repetition, the love almost lost that.
The Walls is a reference to These Walls off of To Pimp a Butterfly. The walls in that song have a wide variety of meanings. But in pride, Kendrick wishes the walls could talk back so he can hear what is said behind closed doors. The hurt caused by the actions of powerful people behind closed doors causes the love to almost be lost to the people they affected, which in this case is black people.
Sick venom in men and women overcome with pride. A perfect world is never perfect, only filled with lies.
These words reflect Kendrick's bitter outlook on the current reality, that the men and women in power have too much pride, and this is causing their words to be essentially venom and poison the people they affect. Kendrick's lack of faith in humanity that he talked about in verse 1 is only exemplified, as Kendrick believes the perfect world he fantasized about throughout the song isn't real, but is just a figment of his imagination. That the pride of men and women stops this from being possible, and the perfect world he thinks of is just an illusion.
Promises are broken and more resentment come alive. Race barriers make inferior you and I.
This is the first direct mention of race and alludes back to the walls as race barriers. Kendrick sees that the people in power only lie and promote the perfect world everyone fantasizes about. But once they get into a position of actual power, nothing is done to create that world. Everything that was said was just lies to get a vote. Kendrick sees the race barriers as negative for both sides, only causing division.
See, in a perfect world, I choose faith over riches. I'll choose work over bitches. I'll make schools out of prison.
I think at this point in the song, Kendrick has completely rejected the idea of a perfect world. I see these lyrics as snarky and resentful. That sure, in a perfect world, Kendrick would choose faith over greed, or ambition over lust, or turn schools into prison. But that perfect world will never happen because of the pride that he and everyone else has.
I'll take all the religions and put them all in one service, just to tell them we ain't shit, but he's been perfect, world.
Kendrick ends the verse saying that in this impossible perfect world, he would take all the religions and unite them under God, and show them that God and his ideas are the only things that matter. Kendrick ends by saying, but he's been perfect, world, which I believe is him saying that the only way to achieve a perfect world is for everyone to follow God and his ideas. The chorus plays one more time, and revisiting it now, it is clear to me that the there Kendrick refers to is the perfect world. But through his realization and rejection of it in the second verse, Kendrick now doubts this idea, saying,
Maybe I wasn't there. Maybe I wasn't there. Maybe I wasn't there.
So why is Pride the most important song on Damn? Well, circling back to what I said at the beginning of the video, pride is the central sin, the originator of all sins. Throughout Damn, the other sins of gluttony, greed, wrath, envy, sloth, and lust are all very much present, and this ties back into pride. At the beginning of Damn, Kendrick poses a question. And at the beginning of Pride, Kendrick says,
Nuts can get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you and you and me.
Pride is the halfway point throughout Damn, being track 7 out of 14. This makes its place the most significant, as Damn is an album Kendrick has confirmed has two meanings, from start to end and end to start. As we all know, pride comes before the fall, and your choice of Kendrick living or dying is directly tied to pride. Start to end is life. Kendrick rejects pride and becomes humble, but the bad ending is Kendrick falling victim to pride, which starts his fall, resulting in his death in blood. Welcome to the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, then leave a comment and tell me what song I should do next for one of these. Depending on the reception to this video, depends on what my next one will be. Despite maybe what my new subscribers think, I'm not just interested in rap, so my next video is probably going to be something else, but it depends how this one does. This is my first video editing like in this style from scratch. Usually I just slap on some fucking Overwatch in the background, but this one I edited the entire thing and made graphics for all of it. It took me a long time, so if you would leave a like and subscribe to the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the video.